So which is why now we will discuss the non-clinical fields. What kind of non-clinical fields are available? So broadly, if we talk about in non-clinical, the first option is basic medical science field. For example, I want to do MS in anatomy, MS in physiology, MS in microbiology. Okay, so these are, for example, you want to do MS plus PhD in pharmacology. So these are basic medical science field which lead you to either a academic position or later on lead you to a research position. So whether you want to get into research or academic, you have a basic medical science option. My second option is public health, community medicine. Whether it is to do with awareness planning from the policy side of it, from government side of it, there is an option. Third option is I want to get into business of running hospitals. So hospital administration is something which I am aspiring to get into. Fourth option, I want to get into the entire business of healthcare and parallel healthcare, maybe medical, instrumentation companies. I want to work in big pharma companies. I want to work in, overall healthcare startups. So that's again a different field. And finally, the new and the upcoming field, and I have live examples of doctors who have considered, is the marriage of healthcare and IT, which is the future, health informatics. So there are lots of courses where MBBS and IT knowledge is clubbed. So if you wish to consider that kind of a career, also possible hai. All right, so now we will see the requirements of each and every course. Okay, now first, of course, each and every course requires an exam called as GRE or TOEFL, basic medical, public health, hospital admin. In case of MBA, you require an exam called as GMAT, and in case of health informatics, again it is a GRE exam and TOEFL. Now GRE has English and math, verbal reasoning, quantitative reasoning. TOEFL is all about a language proficiency of English. Okay, so these exams, usually people who are aspiring to do these options appear either in internship year or after graduation. Okay, all right. What is the eligibility? Now this will also let you know what kind of competition you can expect. Usually for basic medical science, the eligibility is MBBS. Okay, so MS anatomy, usually majority of MBBS physicians only are allowed in maximum courses. So is with MS in physiology, MS in biochemistry. Sometimes MS in microbiology, BSc biology people are also allowed. Okay, BSc microbiology people are also allowed in MS in microbiology options. Okay, so you will be competing with BSc people also. So it doesn't matter whether you did your MBBS, they did your BSc, they will still be joining the same course as you did. Okay, public health, of course, MBBS and dental students both do it. Okay, even the BDS students can go for a dental public health course. So basically the competition, meaning number of people trying, is not just MBBS but also dental students across the world. They also go and apply for public health courses. Same is with hospital admin. So your demand will not be that, oh, you have done MBBS, because a dental student will also be in the same classroom as you are. Okay, MBBS and BDS, and same is with healthcare informatics, MBBS and BDS. So basically in the non-clinical field, it doesn't matter that you have your MBBS. Majority of time it doesn't matter. Okay, next we will talk about the time taken. So in basic medical science, lot of time just the masters does not have a value. You also have to do PhD. That's why the time taken is minimum 2 years, maximum 5 years. Okay, in terms of public health, it is 2 years. Hospital administration, it's a 2-year program. MBA is a 2-year program. Health informatics is a 2-year program. Now In clinical, there was no tuition fee. In basic medical science, your tuition fees are very much there, around 45 to 50 lakh rupees. In case of public health, 50 to 60 lakh rupees. In case of hospital admin, 50 to 60 lakh rupees. In case of MBA, it can go as high as 1 crore rupees, your tuition fee. In case of healthcare informatics, it is between 55 to 80 lakh rupees. That is the tuition fee you pay. Tamanna, even if you get scholarships, it can erase your 5%, 10% of the fees. You cannot expect a free course like the clinical people. So even if you are getting scholarship, you will get 5%, or sometimes once in, let's say, one amongst thousands, 2,000 students where a university might give you a free scholarship, completely free scholarship. But the chances are very, very less, I'm telling you. Because you cannot do planning on the basis that if I get a free, I will go. So I'm telling you, 1 out of 1,000 people get a free. So the chance, you have to be ready. Initial planning, you need to be ready with this kind of a money. Salary during course is zero. You do not get paid anything by the institutions. You don't get any salary. Some agents say you can do part-time work 20 hours. Frankly, that will take care of your living expenditure. That's it. You cannot rely on that to cover up your entire investment. And usually it's not a great thing when you're doing such prestigious courses to think about working part-time in Domino's and all, okay? So avoid that kind of options. Now, salary after the course. In clinical, we saw minimum $200,000. In non-clinical, your first year salary will be 60,000. Public health will be 60,000. Hospital admin is 60,000. MBA gives you around 85,000 US dollars salary. And health informatics, which is marriage of health and IT, is about 100,000 US dollars. So opportunity to settle, whether I can settle in America or not. Yes, in all the basic medical science, you can settle because they are STEM courses, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. These courses are allowed to settle, and if you get a job, yes, you can settle. Okay, condition is if you get a job. In clinical, you don't have to worry. Here, definitely, if you get a job, you can settle. Public health. Now, public health is a course where whichever country you do a course, you can settle in that country. What do I mean by that? So if you do a public health from, let's say, Australia, they teach you the issues of Australia, so you can settle in Australia. If you do a public health from India, you can settle in India. If you do a public health from America, usually there is no demand of that doctor in India, because they have learned about problems of America, budgets of America, challenges of America. So whichever country you do public health, you can settle in that country only. When it comes to hospital admin, it's a global degree, meaning you can study in US, you can settle in Canada, Australia, India, anywhere. Same is with MBA and health informatics. You can settle in any country. If you do, your PG from America, you can settle in any country. Okay. Next question. Time and efforts required to start the process of non-clinical. When I say USMLE, it is parallel to your MBBS, almost 4 to 5 years. For these courses, only 1 year. 1 year time during your internship, all your applications have to be done, and you come to know whether you got admission or not. Initial expenditure 2 lakh rupees, 2 lakh rupees, 2 lakhs. That's the expenditure of your GRE, TOEFL exams and applications to universities. So this is the total expenditure which you have. I hope this is making some sense to you, and there are options open for you, and you have a clarity, okay, what kind of options I can do. So basically, when you do your planning, you need to be very clear what is going to be your budget. What is going to be your budget to enter into American healthcare system? If you have a budget of 20 lakhs, you can get into clinical route where you can start earning from first year. If your budget is 50 lakhs, no problem, you can enter the non-clinical route and complete your PG and then look for career outcomes, you know. So that also is going to be very, very important in terms of decision making. Okay. So this is going to be very, very important. Okay, I have a question. If I do a clinical residency in America, can I settle in Canada? Absolutely, yes. If you have a PG from America, you can settle in Canada, Australia, Middle East, you know, India, all of these countries, no problem whatsoever. English-speaking countries, no problem. Perfect. So as you can see, you know, 98% feel okay, maybe clinical is what they are looking for. But yes, out of 200 students, there are people who are interested for non-clinical. That's also their choice. And you should definitely consider that. I will really appreciate. Because it is not that the non-clinical field is bad. Again, we saw the salaries and the growth and the job outlook for clinical fields. Let's see for the non-clinical fields. What does the American Labor Bureau say? So on average, people who get into non-clinical field are earning minimum 65 to maximum 120. So average is 100,000 US dollars per year, which is although half of what a clinical person earns, but it is not bad. Okay. Plus, there are jobs for 4,22,300 jobs were available in America, and every year the jobs are increasing by 32%. So yes, non-clinical field also have job opportunities, but so is the competition, because not only you as a MBBS apply, BDS people, BSc people, and MBBS all apply for these positions. Okay, so that is how it will work. All right. But yes, it's also a career which you can consider. It's all about your job satisfaction. And if you do well in the non-clinical field, maybe 5 years, 10 years down the line, you can, you know, become much more, you know, on a higher position than a clinical person. So it is not going to be that no, clinical is the only success route. It's all about the planning and things which you have in mind. Okay. So these factors need to be considered. Where do non-clinical fields work? Which kind of companies? What kind of roles? They work as epidemiologists, biostatician, researchers, public health educator, healthcare administrator, policy advisors, work with governments, work with lots of big NGOs, you know, Red Cross, UN, work with pharma companies, biotechnology companies, medical communication companies, medical informatics, regulatory affairs, very big field, especially in pharma. You work as a healthcare service managers. So you can see right now in COVID, there are doctors working with the CDC, you know, Center for Disease and Care. Basically, CDC is the body which is monitoring the guidelines in the US right now for all the public health issues. You can work with Ministry of Health, Saudi Arabia. You know, there's a lot of demand. You can work with educational institutions. You can work with big four companies like Deloitte, KPMG, which do research. You can work in various kind of American Cancer Societies, NGOs, non-profit organizations, private sector, universities, government agencies, healthcare and hospitals. So basically, yes, there are plethora of opportunities in non-clinical as well. Okay, there are plethora of opportunities in non-clinical as well. Okay. All right. So now somebody is asking me in the question poll, sir, what do you recommend? Non-clinical or clinical? The answer is I will not recommend you any option. It is your call. We cannot compare apple and oranges. What is the license exam of clinical field? I told you there are no license exams. There are just entrance exams like the GRE and TOEFL exam. But there are no license examinations in non-clinical field. Okay. I hope this is clear. Can we become professor there? Absolutely. Yes, Apurva. Absolutely.